Every currency in the world and how it started explained. Imagine walking into a store with seashells, salt, or chunks of metal to buy your groceries. For thousands of years, this was reality. Today, we swipe cards and tap phones to move invisible numbers between accounts. How did we get from trading cattle to cryptocurrency? Let's explore the fascinating origins of the world's most important currencies and discover how money itself evolved. The United States dollar. 1792. The US dollar wasn't America's first currency. That honor goes to the Continental, which became so worthless it gave us the phrase, "not worth a continental." After the Revolutionary War, Alexander Hamilton designed a new monetary system based on the Spanish dollar, which was already widely used in American trade. The dollar's strength comes from an unlikely source: war debt. During World War II, European countries needed American goods but had depleted their gold reserves. The Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944 made the dollar the world's reserve currency, backed by gold at $35 per ounce. Everything changed in 1971 when President Nixon ended gold convertibility. The dollar became a fiat currency, valuable only because the US government says it is. Yet, this seemingly fragile foundation supports 60% of global foreign exchange reserves today. What makes a piece of paper worth something? Trust. The dollar represents the full faith and credit of the world's largest economy, backed by the most powerful military in history. When countries want to trade oil, buy international bonds, or store wealth safely, they still choose dollars. The euro, 1999. The euro represents history's most ambitious monetary experiment, convincing 19 sovereign nations to abandon their centuries-old currencies for a shared digital creation. The project began as a political dream. If European countries shared money, they couldn't easily go to war with each other. Before the euro, travelers needed different money for every European country. Crossing from France to Germany meant exchanging francs for Deutschmarks, losing money to conversion fees each time. Businesses faced similar challenges trading across borders, with exchange rate fluctuations creating constant uncertainty. The euro's birth required economic coordination on an unprecedented scale. Countries had to meet strict criteria: inflation below certain levels, government debt under control, and interest rates aligned with European averages. Some nations, like Greece, later revealed they had manipulated their books to qualify. The currency launched digitally in 1999, but citizens couldn't hold physical euros until 2002. That New Year's Day, 300 million people woke up with new money in their wallets, marking the largest currency changeover in human history. The British pound sterling, 8th century. The pound sterling claims the title of world's oldest currency still in use, tracing its origins to Anglo-Saxon England over 1,200 years ago. The name comes from sterling silver. 240 silver pennies weighed exactly 1 pound, giving us the pound sterling. For centuries, British coins contained their face value in precious metals. A gold sovereign actually contained a sovereign's worth of gold. This system collapsed during World War I when Britain needed to print money faster than it could mine gold. The pound's global dominance peaked during the British Empire when the phrase, "the sun never sets on the British Empire," meant pounds were accepted everywhere from India to Australia. Brexit has created uncertainty about the pound's future as Britain distances itself from European integration. The Japanese yen, 1871. Japan's currency tells a story of isolation, modernization, and economic resurrection. For over 2 centuries, Japan operated under sakoku, a closed country policy that banned foreign trade and currency. Everything changed when Commodore Perry's black ships forced Japan to open trade in 1854. Japanese leaders created the yen in 1871, meaning round object, a reference to the new circular coins replacing traditional rectangular bars. The yen survived Japan's transformation from feudal society to industrial power through devastating military defeat in World War II and emergence as an economic superpower. Today's yen reflects Japan's economic philosophy: stability over growth. The Bank of Japan maintains some of the world's lowest interest rates, making yen attractive to international investors seeking safety during global uncertainty. The Chinese yuan, 1436. China invented paper money during the Song dynasty in 960, but The modern yuan dates to 1436, when the Ming dynasty established a unified currency system. The People's Republic of China created today's yuan in 1949, naming it renminbi, meaning people's currency. For decades, the government tightly controlled exchange rates, keeping the yuan artificially cheap to boost exports and build China's manufacturing economy. China's currency strategy reflects its economic philosophy: gradual change over market freedom. The yuan's international role is expanding as China challenges American economic dominance. China has created yuan-denominated oil futures, currency swap agreements with dozens of countries, and digital yuan experiments that could reshape global payments. The Swiss franc, 1850. Switzerland created its currency the same way it approaches everything else, through careful neutrality and precise engineering. Before 1850, Switzerland was a monetary chaos. Over 800 different currencies circulated in a country smaller than West Virginia. Swiss neutrality during 2 world wars made the franc a haven for international wealth. When currencies collapsed around Europe, money flowed to Swiss banks like water finding the lowest point. The franc's strength sometimes works against Switzerland. When global crises hit, investors pile into francs, making Swiss exports expensive. The Indian rupee, 6th century BCE. The rupee traces its ancestry to ancient India's silver coins called rupyakam, meaning shaped silver. British colonization transformed Indian currency into a tool of economic control, but independence in 1947 brought monetary sovereignty. Modern India's rupee reflects the country's emergence as a global technology and services hub. As Indian companies expand internationally and foreign investment flows in, the rupee has become more convertible, though the government still maintains some capital controls. The Canadian dollar, 1858. Canada's dollar emerged from colonial confusion when British North America used multiple currencies simultaneously. The province of Canada introduced decimal currency in 1858, choosing dollars over pounds to simplify trade with the United States. The Canadian dollar's value traditionally follows commodity prices, especially oil, gold, and lumber. International investors view Canadian dollars as a commodity currency backed by a stable democracy, making it popular during global uncertainty. The Australian dollar, 1966. Australia operated on British pounds until 1966, when the country decimalized and created the Australian dollar. Like Canada, Australia's currency functions as a commodity currency tied to mining exports. The Australian dollar pioneered polymer banknotes in 1988, technology now used by over 30 countries. The Norwegian krone, 1875. Norway created the krone as part of the Scandinavian Monetary Union in 1875. Oil revenues from North Sea discoveries transformed Norway into one of the world's wealthiest countries per capita, with a sovereign wealth fund now holding over $1 trillion. The South Korean won, 1945. South Korea's won tells a story of economic transformation from war-torn poverty to technological prosperity. The currency launched in 1945 after liberation from Japanese occupation. The Korean War devastated the won's value, but South Korea's economic miracle strengthened the currency as companies like Samsung and Hyundai became global brands. The Mexican peso, 1535. Mexico's peso originated from Spanish colonial silver mines that produced the world's most trusted currency for over 3 centuries. Spanish pieces of 8 became the first global currency, accepted worldwide because of their consistent silver content. Modern Mexico has rebuilt peso stability through responsible fiscal policies and close economic integration with the United States. The Russian ruble, 13th century. The ruble's name comes from rubit, meaning to chop, referring to chopped pieces of silver bars used in medieval Russian trade. Post-Soviet Russia faced ruble collapse during the transition to market systems. Today's ruble reflects Russia's dependence on energy exports, with oil and gas revenues strengthening the currency, while sanctions create volatility. The Brazilian real, 1994. Brazil's real emerged from hyperinflation chaos that destroyed previous currencies. Before 1994, Brazil changed currencies multiple times, with inflation reaching over 2,000% annually. The real's creation required innovative economic engineering that successfully broke inflationary expectations and transformed Brazil into an emerging market success story. Bitcoin, 2009. Bitcoin represents humanity's first attempt at creating money without governments. An anonymous programmer using the name Satoshi Nakamoto released Bitcoin software in 2009, proposing a peer-to-peer electronic cash system that eliminates financial intermediaries. Unlike traditional currencies controlled by central banks, Bitcoin operates through a distributed network of computers that validate transactions using cryptographic proofs. No single entity can create more Bitcoins or reverse transactions, making it resistant to government manipulation. Bitcoin's value comes from mathematical scarcity. Only 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist. This predetermined supply contrasts with government currencies that can be printed infinitely, creating inflation and reducing purchasing power over time. The cryptocurrency's adoption reflects growing distrust of traditional monetary systems. From Cyprus bank bailouts to Venezuelan hyperinflation, people seek alternatives to government-controlled money that can be devalued or seized without warning. The evolution from seashells to smartphones reveals money's fundamental nature, a shared belief system that facilitates human cooperation. Whether carved from precious metals or computed by algorithms, currencies succeed when people trust their value and accept them in exchange. Today's monetary landscape reflects humanity's increasing connectivity and technological sophistication. Yet the basic functions remain unchanged. Money stores value across time, measures economic worth, and enables complex trade relationships that create prosperity. Understanding currency origins helps us appreciate money's role in human civilization and prepare for whatever monetary innovations the future might bring. From ancient silver to digital tokens, the story of money continues to evolve.